Ladies and gentlemen, the problem is clear and there's no to argue. Israel is oppressing the citizens of Gaza, the Palestinians of Gaza, and preventing their growth. The international community is stuck and can't do anything about it for various reasons that we'll touch upon later. And what we are suggesting is a very simple mechanism. What we're going to do is we're going to send a flotilla, which is basically a shipload of ships. We're going to send a lot of warships from the EU, and we're going to open up this blockade. And the way we see it, this is not going to incite war, because Israel in its right mind is not going to mess with us. We're going to send a lot of warships, and nobody's going to, it's not like a World War III scenario that you all have to be scared of. It's just for the first time, someone's going to tell these Israelis that they can't do whatever they feel like all the time, because their big American brother has their back. All right, so I'm going to talk about two interests that we have as the EU. The first interest is our interest as a superpower, and the second interest is our moral obligation. All right, so I'm going to touch on the first point. This flotilla, this symbolic act, will be the first act of liberating the world. Not taking over the world, but liberating the world. Liberating those places and those countries who are oppressed, who are under occupation, and cannot, because of different international bullshit rules, cannot find any assistance and any help from the international community. And this is our time. This is our time as the EU to step up and become the superpower you all know that we are. All right, so how, and why are we starting, and this is a very important point, why are we starting from Israel? Because these rude bastards, they think and they say that they're democratic, right? They have a democratic rule and whatever, but they're not. For 40 years, they're occupying these Palestinians, they're not giving them their basic rights. This blockade they have going on there in Gaza prevents from basic resources to come in, from basic commodities to come in, and we know the life in Gaza is just a big nightmare, and this has to stop, and that's why we're starting with Israel. Why is this going to reinforce our status as a superpower? Because what we're saying is that this is going to be the first step of our crusade towards protecting the little guy. Okay? And who is the little guy? The little guy is the gay teacher, the openly gay teacher. The little guy is the drug addict that doesn't get any drugs for free. The little guy is, of course, all these wonderful Muslim women who want to put on layers of clothes and not see anything to be trying to do. But seriously, we're talking about all these people who are oppressed and their rights being oppressed on a daily basis, and nobody's doing anything about this. The states are not doing anything. America's not doing anything because they have their oil interests. Russia and China just don't care about human rights. We all know that. So it's our time. And when we do that, and when we are the ones who are protecting the rights of the little guy, of the oppressed citizens around the globe, people will turn to us for help. People will know that when you have trouble, when you really need assistance, you go to us. You go to the EU because we dominate. We are the most important power to reckon with, and we can assist you. All right. Why are we going to do this in Gaza? This has to do, again, with our moral responsibility as a superpower. If we are a superpower, we have to take on certain responsibilities. Before I begin,
will you also send a flotilla against Iran? Because I hear they're much worse than Israel.
Okay, that's a great point. And I'm sorry I forgot that point. Yes, of course. We are starting with Israel. But that's only our first stop. We are continuing straight to Iran. And our next stop is Syria. And Ahmadinejad will not sleep because he knows we're coming for his ass. So yes, from us, and we are going to liberate all of these places. Thank you for that. All right, so our moral obligation as a superpower. So we all know that this occupation has to stop. We are looking for a non-violent solution. Like I said, we're going to send a lot of ships. It's not going to be a violent scenario. Israel is going to realize she has no choice and is going to, in fact, open the Gaza port. It's important to realize here that we're not, in the Israeli case, we're not even infringing on Israeli sovereignty. As we see it, the Gaza Strip is not part of the Israel sovereignty. That's the whole point. Despite one Edmond Levy guy, forget about him. It's not Israel, and that's why we're not infringing on any sovereignty problems that you may have. What we are saying is that we're disconnecting, in effect, the Gaza Strip from Iran. Because what are the Israelis saying? They're saying, oh, it's Hamas, everything is about these terrorists who are controlling everything. But why are they doing it? It's because Israel won't let anything go in through the Gaza port, except if you're getting, so what am I going to do as a Palestinian citizen? I'm going to get my stuff through the only people who have enough power to get me stuff through the different borders and the different hostile to Israel states, and those are, of course, Hamas. But if we disconnect if we break the blockade on Gaza and we open up the port, so yes, Gaza will become increasingly independent. She'll be able to export and import commodities and grow independently as an economy, and that's what we want. We're also suggesting that we have a short-term economic support program. Of course, we're talking about a fiscal policy of growth and not austerity. But we are going to base a certain economic support, because we understand that we can't just leave them hanging dry, so we're going to have them through the first steps. But basically, we float in, we break the blockade, and we float out. It's not something, we're not trying to turn Israel or any other states. We're going to help out as to become part of us. That's the whole point of being a superpower, that we enable these other countries to maintain their sovereignty and to develop as independent states. And what we're saying here is that only if we take upon us this moral obligation, only then will it be justified to solidify our station as a superpower. And that is why we cannot only invade these different states and tear down their tremendous rulers. We have to aid, we have to support them. And what we said here is two very important things. First of all, as the EU, this is our time to become a superpower. This is our time to step up and to help those parts of the world that the rest of the international community cannot. And the second is why we have a moral obligation to help the Gazans. And for those reasons, I urge you to